Hey there tech fans, Rick here again with another review, and today I have the DJI Mavic 3 drone. Now this is the latest release from DJI in what they call their prosumer space, which I guess is a hybrid between consumers and professional flyers, but honestly, with all the features they packed into the Mavic 3, this is a fully professional drone. So if you're flying commercially for any reason, whether you're doing real estate photography or you're surveying fields, you pretty much have everything you need inside the Mavic 3 to accomplish both of those tasks. Now, I'm going to spend a few minutes and go through the basic specifications, but honestly, if you're only concerned about specifications, you could go to their website and read those specs for yourself. What I'd like to do in this clip is point out why those specifications matter, because anytime I'm buying a product, I always want to know what they've changed and how that change really impacts me as a pilot. And trust me, DJI has built so much high technology into this Mavic 3 that it's almost unbelievable that it's available at the price they're selling it for. So let me get started with the specifications. So the Mavic 3, the first thing people ask about it is how long can it fly? That's the first thing everybody wants to know about a drone. How long can it stay up in the air? Well, the Mavic 3 has an astounding 46 minutes of flight time on a fully charged battery. Now, when you think about that and compare it to older drones that typically got 15, 20, 25 minutes of flight time, it's almost double the time in the air on a fully charged battery. And the reason that's important is because if you're flying commercially, you have to get up in the air, you have to go out and get close to a target that you want to get some video footage of or take some pictures of, and that takes time. You're going to burn a lot of time just getting up in the air, making sure you're clear, getting over the target, and then once you're on target, you're going to spend a lot of time framing that subject perfectly, making sure the focus is right, getting the right angle on that, and that all takes time. So having 45 minutes means you'll be on target longer. You can take more video footage so you're sure you got the shot you need. You can take extra pictures if you need to, and still have plenty of battery power left to get it up in the air and back and land it safely back at the takeoff point. So 45 minutes is an incredibly long time to be up in the air, especially when you consider the size of the drone. The next thing people want to ask about is how good is the camera? Well, I mean, that's the whole point of buying a camera drone, is that you're putting a DSLR up in the sky. It's a flying robot with a camera attached, and you want to get the best video you can and the best pictures you can get. Well, DJI didn't slouch there either. They've built in two sensors on this unit. They've got a full 4/3 sensor, and they've got a 1/2 inch sensor. And between those two sensors, you can actually zoom 28x. It's a hybrid zoom, but imagine being so far away from a subject that you can 28x zoom in and actually pull in really tight in a subject. So you can be far, far away from some wildlife out there in the wilderness and get a crisp picture of that deer or that moose or that snowy white egret. All of those things you can pull into focus. So the camera's phenomenal on this product. And again, having that dual sensor in there gives you the ability to get a crisp picture of the 4/3 sensor, or actually take the 28 zoom if you need to pull in tight in a subject. You can record incredible footage on this as well. So it records 5.1 at 30 frames a second. It'll also record 4K at 60 or 120 frames a second. So any kind of video you want to capture from the sky, this is the one you want to go with. It absolutely will give you the crispest pictures that you've ever seen in a drone up to this point. Another consideration is how strong is the signal? Because when you're flying this, a lot of times commercially, you're flying in environments that are noisy or they're really crowded with obstacles. So if you're doing real estate photography, there could be other big buildings around you. There could be a lot of Wi-Fi interference. So many things are in that frequency band that can interfere with the connection that you want to make sure you get the strongest signal possible. Well, DJI's pioneered a technology called Occusync. That's years ago they came out with that technology, and there have been successive revolutions in that technology ever since. This current product uses the Occusync 3 Plus technology. And why that's important is because the drone and the controller sort of set up a relationship when you take off, and they pick a frequency that's the strongest frequency for where you're standing. And when it takes off, it's using that frequency. But over time, the controller and the drone are constantly talking to each other saying, hey, that frequency's getting a little bit noisy or a little bit weak. There are 5 other frequencies that are as strong or stronger. If it gets any weaker, I'm going to switch to the next frequency. So that relationship is frequency hopping all the time to make sure you've got a rock solid signal with the drone and the controller. And to that end, if you were to fly this over the desert, don't fly it that far, because in the US we have a visual line of sight requirement where you can't really fly it further than you can see it. But if you were doing a test, you could fly this 15 kilometers away and still have a signal with a video feedback from the drone. And again, that's super important, because if you put it up in a crowded environment and you fly it out a couple thousand feet and all of a sudden you're getting breakups in the video, or you can't really see the video feed, you can't really frame your shot. Moreover, it's a panic situation when the video feed goes bad, because you're not sure what the drone's doing at that point. So that Occusync 3 technology, that O3 Plus technology, really ensures a rock solid signal between them. Some safety features built into the unit that I love. It's got 360 optical avoidance. It's got sensors all the way around. So if you're flying in very crowded areas, it'll know there's a tree over there or a building over there or a wire above you, and it'll avoid those things. That's really important because obviously if you're that far away, you can't see a tiny little tree branch and you might actually tag that tree branch. So knowing the drone can see that and avoid that is really important. Also built into that is the Active Track, brand new 5.0. Now, Active Track is important because the drone can actually follow you through very crowded environments. So it's got tracking abilities on the front that if you lock in on you on a motorcycle, a bike, or car, on a motorboat, on skis, whatever you're doing, it'll follow you. The crash avoidance will take over and not run into things. But the APAS is a feature that actually is an artificial intelligence feature that not only avoids things, but predicts a pass through things, which is really important because if there's trees and such, you don't want the drone to just stop. You want to still have it follow you through the forest. Well, what APAS does is analyze the scene, find all the solid objects that it has to avoid, and navigate a path between those solid objects to continue to follow you through that really crowded environment. So it's a miracle in a lot of ways that APAS is in there, and they've gone through multiple generations of that to the point where it's scary accurate. I mean, you have a hard time losing this, and I've tested it by running through a very heavily wooded area, and it may not catch me right away, but eventually it finds a way through the trees, and it'll follow me through that crowded area. So APAS is really nice. The last thing I wanted to talk about was the software features, because when you're filming in a location, it takes a while to become a good pilot. It takes a long time to get the skill sets down to be able to circle an object around that object 360 degrees and maintain focus on that object without drifting or slowing down. It's also tricky a lot of times to do those rocket shots away from an object where you've got a house in perfect focus and then pull away and up to show the backyard and the rest of the area around if you're doing real estate photography. All those things are built in here as automated features. So the artificial intelligence in the software allows you at the push of a button or a tap of the screen to actually circle an object and keep it in focus, pull away from an object, chase an object, do a boomerang where it goes up and back down again, shoot straight up from the bottom to the top, looking down on an object. So there are a lot of automated features built into the unit that immediately make you a phenomenal photographer in the air just by using the product. So all those things being equal, I think the Mavic 3 really represents the pinnacle of consumer level drones and certainly a professional level drone as well. If you're doing any kind of commercial work, again, I think the Mavic 3 is the perfect choice. So hopefully you found this review helpful. I've got a lot more coming, so make sure you stop back soon. And until next time, stay nerdy.